Hello and welcome, my Sagittarius friends. This is Jennifer from Mystic Star. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today and watching this video. This is going to be a group reading for October's Mercury Retrograde for my Sagittarius friends. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we just exited and left a Mercury Retrograde, and here we are at the next one. Now on the good side, this is the last Mercury Retrograde for 2019. Now I'm not going to spend too much time going in depth into Mercury Retrograde. There's lots of fantastic websites that go in depth into the effects, what Mercury Retrograde is scientifically. What I want to focus in on is how Mercury Retrograde is going to impact my Sagittarius friends, and more importantly, how we can overcome some of these challenges and obstacles. We can't change how Mercury Retrograde impacts us and those around us. However, we can start to really add some tools and strategies to overcoming how we would initially respond to that. The deck I chose for this reading is the Tarot de la Nuit, or the Tarot of the Night. And then I'll be ending off the session with a blessing from the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. Like always, I have links below to both these fantastic decks, so should they speak to you, you can go check them out for yourselves. Alright, my Sagittarius friends, let's see what the cards have to say. What card symbolizes Mercury Retrograde for my Sagittarius friends? It's a fantastic card, the Ten of Wands. Tens are about completion and a new beginning. Wands are about that inner fire and passion. Now, the original card, the Ten of Wands, talks about working too hard. The original picture that Pamela Coleman Smith did was a fellow that had 10 wands up in front of his face and he's trudging forward all by himself. And that's kind of the energy that we're looking at, that working too hard and not really seeing the bigger picture. And that's going to be the kind of overshadow of this whole event for you, my Sagittarius friends, that working too hard and not seeing that bigger picture. Let's break this down into the weeks. So what does the first week of Mercury Retrograde look like for my Sagittarius friends? Oh, got jumper, 2 jumpers, 3 jumpers, got jumpers, lots of them. So that first week, there's lots to behold. The first one is the Six of Pentacles. Sixes are about communication, harmony, and balance. Pentacles about that wealth and abundance. Now, the Six of Pentacles is going to be a challenge. That balance piece, knowing where to put our energies, and also some of the projects that we were really excited for, not going to be as lustrous and abundant as we had hoped. Now, if you can keep that project rolling throughout Mercury Retrograde, it may be different at the end. But during this Mercury Retrograde, your projects may not kind of produce what you'd hoped. The next card that decided to grace us is Death. The 13th card in the Major Arcana, and it speaks about change. Death is going to be coming in and adding a little bit more fun to your Mercury Retrograde. Bringing in those thoughts and ideas of, oh, by the way, I'm going to take this, this, and this. Many times when death comes in, it can be more of a gentle process that we can work with. Mercury Retrograde is really going to throw death on a helter-skelter, and you're going to find he's taking stuff that you weren't maybe quite prepared for. So it may be coming up as a little bit more hurt. Not to mention the fact that you're going to think about the things that they take when he takes it. Oh my God, you're taking that? I kind of might need that memory. Oh, I wasn't quite done mourning that loss of that information. So random thoughts, random emotions may be coming into play as well. And the final jumper, the Page of Cups. Pages are that childlike, playful energy. Cups are about that intuition and emotion. You're going to find that your emotions not only are fluctuating up and down because of Mercury Retrograde and the Devil, but similar to a child, you're going to lose a lot of those coping mechanisms that you've acquired throughout your lifetime. You're going to find that you're going to have not a lot of attention span, that things are going to catch your attention. Think of it as similar to watching a child play in a playground, that you're like running here, there, and everywhere. There's going to be a lot of energies really ruminating around in the first week. That instability really fluctuates and pushes the page and death on its tail and just keeps them spinning. All right, on to the second week. I know this is starting off with a bang, so let's see what happens during the second week of Mercury retrograde for my Sagittarius friends. We have one card. Second week's calming down. It's the Nine of Cups. Nines are all about that hard work, all that you've achieved so far. Cups about that emotion and intuition. You're going to find that what you once found as stable destabilizes. So not only are your emotions going to continue to be really kind of on a roller coaster in the second week, but what you used to find grounding and nurturing and loving may not be as fulfilling during the second week. Mercury retrograde is starting to play in on your intuition and your connection with higher self. Not to mention the fact that Page is still going to be flowing into the second week, which is going to cause a lot of emotional ups and downs. Let's look at the final week, my Sagittarius friends. Aren't you glad this is the last one for a while? What does the third week of Mercury retrograde look like for my Sagittarius friends? It's the fifth card in the major arcana, the Hierophant. That connection to the higher source is going to be strained a lot more in the third week. Additionally, any group activities that you may enjoy may be very disruptive or canceled that week. You're going to find that societal mainstream things or those functions that are very organized become disorganized. Okay, quite the Mercury retrograde, my Sagittarius friends. Let's start looking at some coping mechanisms and strategies to kind of overcome these challenges. What can my Sagittarius friends do to overcome and negotiate the challenges brought on by the first week of Mercury retrograde? It's a fantastic card. The Knight of Swords. Knights are that adolescent energy. They're not afraid of anything, and they're ready to charge forward. And that energy is going to be needed in that first week. You need to get out of your heart and get into your head. This needs to be head-driven rather than heart-driven. When we go from a base of knowledge and critical thinking, you're going to find that that week flows a lot better for you. Also, not being afraid of that week. A lot of times when we do mapping like this, it can cause kind of a bit of an anxiety. Knowing that you have the abilities, the skills, and the knowledge to overcome this will help. That knight is right beside you and is ready to draw his sword. Let's look at the second week. What can my Sagittarius friends do to overcome the challenges brought on by the second week of Mercury retrograde? That's a fitting card. The Temperance. She's the 14th card in the major arcana. She talks about energy flow and balance. Your energies are going to be all over the place, my Sagittarius friends. It is going to be very, very important that you stay grounded and continually ground yourself, and you continually check into that energy flow. When we're flowing, when our chakras are flowing well and we feel good, that's when we can take on some of that more challenging aspects that Mercury retrograde or life throws at us. Having that balanced approach will help. Okay, didn't even get the question out before we have a jumper. What can my Sagittarius friends do to overcome the challenges brought on? Another jumper. by the 3rd week of Mercury retrograde. All right, so we have a couple jumpers. The first one, it's the Hanged Man. It's the 12th card in the Major Arcana, and it talks about needing to let go. We may have a disruption in our connection to the higher source. However, we need to let go and understand that there's no disruption from us to them. They are hearing us. They're going to be able to respond to us. We need to let go and allow the universe to unfold its grand master plan. And having faith in that, even though you may not be receiving messages and you may feel a little bit disconnected, that the universe is still there for you. Your angels are there. Your guides, your guardians, your posse is still behind you. It's just you may not hear them as well. The second one, the 7 of Swords. 7s are about a little bit of hard work, however, being victorious. The 7 of Swords talks about trying to get away with too much. So it's a bit of a warning. Do what you can. Do not try and overexert or overextend yourself into things you don't understand or do. Make sure that you feel very content and grounded when you're doing this. If you don't have that knowledge piece, it's not going to flow very well. You're not going to find that resolution that you're looking for. All right, let's see what the final guidance piece is on how my Sagittarius friends can overcome Mercury retrograde. And that's the 6 of Swords. Like I said here, 6s are about harmony and balance. That balancing piece, like I said before, is going to be super important for you. Swords, again, go from the heart or the head, not the heart. You are knowledge driven rather than emotion driven, and you're going to find this week or these 3 weeks go by a lot better than if you're trying to go from your heart. Right. What's the final piece of information that we can share to my Sagittarius friends to help cope with and get through, got jumper, through Mercury retrograde? It's the 3 of Pentacles. 3s are about expression and growth. Pentacles are about that growth and abundance. You will find this week brings about growth as it brings about that change. You're going to start to recognize little changes in as you have to work through this. It's going to help build those skills you need for their next step. The 3 of Pentacles talks about that need to hone your craft and work together as a team. And you're going to have to work together with your team, with your spiritual team, to get yourself going forward. All right, because your team, I can tell you, will be screaming at you not to be working as hard as you are. There's a better solution, and this journey will help you figure it out. Let's look at what your shadow self wants to add, and that's strength. The 8th card in the Major Arcana. Strength is literally about that inner strength, that ability you have to make things not only look easy, but achieve things that people think is impossible. That inner fire and power that you have that has brought you this far. Tapping into that amazing strength that you have will help push you forward. You need to use those very unique abilities and strengths that you have to overcome some of these challenges. Oh, and I'm being told by my team very clearly that I'm missing an angel message. We've got double 6s here. The 6 of Swords and the 6 of Pentacles. When you have double 6s in angel messages, you need to balance your thoughts between the physical and the spiritual world. Again, that balance piece, and yes, between that spiritual and physical world is going to be needed. and so is your strength. All these things are going to tie in together to kind of give you a bit of an oomph and a push. Let's look at a blessing. What blessing do we have for my Sagittarius friends? This, oh, got a jumper. Mercury retrograde. Butterflies in gloom. After sadness, happiness and hope returns. No matter how hard this gets, you're going to be able to get through it. There is happiness, there's hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It just at times may feel like there isn't. When you're at those times, that is when you need to start looking at grounding yourself, rebalancing yourself, and giving yourself some love and healing. You will need to be mindful of that. You'll need to be very compassionate towards yourself. Mercury retrograde is hard to deal with. When we're dealing with a shift like this, it can be even more challenging. For those who wish, you can pause the video here and reflect on the cards. This is a group reading, however these cards were drawn especially, and in some cases jumped out especially for my Sagittarius friends. What further information do the cards have for you? Like I said, this is a group reading. If you're looking for a more personal or specific reading, you can follow the link below and schedule a private reading with myself. For those who are interested, I will be running an online introductory and interactive class through Zoom throughout the next couple of months. On November 11th, I'll be running my Introduction to Angels and Archangels class. Then on December 10th, I'll be running my Introduction to Connecting, which is a channeling class. If you're interested in both or either of these classes, you can find out more information and register on my website. Below, I've provided a link to my classes page that'll take you directly to the information you're looking for. I hope you found this video helpful and fun, and that you're able to gain some direction and insight into what Mercury retrograde is going to look like for you. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today and watching this video. I'll continue to create fun and dynamic and insightful videos for my zodiac friends in the upcoming weeks. If you have any thoughts, suggestions, or comments, please leave them below. I'm always up for feedback from my friends. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for the latest content. You never know where I'm going to go next, and I'd hate for you to miss a video. Also, if you'd like this video and want to support me in making more, I have a Patreon page with many tiers and lots of perks. In some of my tiers, the perks are private readings with myself. I provided a helpful link below, so why not go check it out. Until tomorrow, my Sagittarius friends.